All right, so today we are going to be working on math in second grade, and we're going to be working on algebraic reasoning. And that TEK is 7C, and it's represent and solve addition and subtraction word problems where their unknowns may be any of the one terms of the problem. So first we're going to start out with this word problem, and we're going to read it, but we're not going to underline keywords. That's actually not as helpful as teachers think it is. The students should be able to read the problem and take in all the information and not just highlight keywords, and that's one of our misconceptions as teachers, is that we want kids to pick out important things instead of read the whole thing and sort it out in their mind. So we're going to start by reading this. Tina has some stuffed animals. Her uncle gave her 15 more. Now she has 20. How many did she begin with? So the first thing we need to ask ourselves is there a change in this problem? And that's really crucial because that separates our different types of problems. It makes us choose either between a join and separate sort of a format problem for the problem or a compare and part whole. And so in this problem there is a change occurring. And that change is that her uncle gave her 15 more. So she's added more to what she already had. So we are going to use our linear model for our join problem. It's going to be concrete because we're going to use our construction paper to help us. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a blank piece of paper and we're going to lay it out. And generally you'd have the kids cut their own paper just from 3 different colors. You'd give them the strips and you would have them all the same length. I already pre-cut mine just for the sake of time. So what we would do is this purple sheet is going to represent our hole. So we're going to glue this to our paper. We're going to lay it out. And we're just going to mark it real quick. And you want to make sure not to write inside of it because that would make it an area model, and we want to use a linear model. So what you can do is you can just do a simple thing like this. And let's look back at our problem. She has 20 now. So 20 is our whole. Okay, so this is going to represent our whole. So that represents 20 stuffed animals. And so then we know that there's an unknown. And so this is going to be our unknown sheet. And what we're going to do is just put this right here on the very edge. And you want to line them up perfectly just so that we make sure they're the same length. Because if they're not the same length, it's not an accurate representation of the model. And then we're going to put this one on. And this one we know she has 15. And so we know that 15 is more than half of 20. And so we are going to make it bigger than our other little piece. So we're going to label this as 15. And you want these to be touching. You don't want any gap to be between them. So that the kids know that that plus that, not anything in the middle, equals the total. So what we're going to do is we're going to use subtraction as our tool. And that's another misconception that a lot of people have. They'll say, oh, this is a subtraction problem. Actually, it's not. It's a join problem. And we're using subtraction as our tool to find our answer. But it's set up as a join problem. And that's something that a lot of teachers mess up when they're talking to their students. So what we're going to do is we're just going to do a simple arithmetic 20 minus 15. And we're going to regroup. And that's 10 minus 5 is 5. We have 1 minus 1, and that's 0. So 5 is our unknown, so we'll go ahead and label that. And that's 5. So we know that she started with 5. Her uncle gave her 15, and now she has a total of 20. So this is a really good concrete linear model to help students understand how the join problem works. So we're going to move on to our next one. And our next one we're going to be using a set model. So we're going to start with our problem. We're going to read out loud. Levi has $12. Jimmy has $8. How much more money does Levi have than Jimmy? So we have to ask, is there a change occurring in our problem? And there's not, because both boys had their money. Nobody took money away, nobody gave it. We're just comparing the different amounts of money. So we're going to look here at our set model, and we're going to fill this in. So let's see, our larger set. So who has a large amount of money? Levi does, because he has $12. So we're going to put our 12 right here. And then we're going to see, okay, who has the smaller set? Jimmy has $8, so he has the smaller set. So we're going to put 8 into our smaller set bubble. And then before we figure out what the difference set is, we're going to come down here and we're going to put it into our arithmetic model. So we're going to do larger set, which is 12, equals the smaller set, which is 8. So what we need to figure out is 8 plus what equals 12. And what we can do is we can use subtraction again as a tool. So we can set it up just like this right here. We can do 12 minus 8, and we can do that. So we're going to have to regroup this 2 to a 12, and 12 minus 8 is 4. We're going to bring our 4 down, and that's how we find our different set. So our different set is 4. And so you go back and after you teach these two different structures, you can reword your answer and say that Levi has 4 more dollars than Jimmy because this is our difference right here. So those are our two different models we're going to do today, and that's about it. Thank you.